that you'll live a life full of regrets when you're older? Most adults have had at least one experience, good or bad, where they wish they could go back and do things a little differently. Well, to help you learn from their experiences, here are the top 10 regrets of life by those who are in their old age. Number 1, leaping into a relationship too fast. One common regret shared by many elderly people is jumping into relationships too fast. This is especially about relationships with people who have vastly different personalities than them. Many elderly folks have noted that while people of opposite personalities bring enjoyment to their lives, it doesn't always bode well as a long-lasting commitment. According to Peter Buston and Stephen T. Ellman of Cornell University, most people actually prefer having a partner that shares similar characteristics to them. So while it can be fun for a short while, in the long run, you're more likely to gravitate towards people who are similar to you. Number 2, drifting apart from family or friends. Do you know a family member who's estranged their child? Oftentimes, these parents end up carrying a sense of shame, stress, and feelings of isolation once they're older. Even if it happened many years ago, estrangement can still have an effect on both members today, sometimes even impacting their mental well-being in the long run. For these relationships, reconciliation and forgiveness may help resolve the issue and overcome the negative feelings they may have for each other, but it only works if both parties reciprocate it. Number 3, not expressing your emotions. Like many, you may think your biggest regret will be a failed career path or a lack of financial foresight. However, in actuality, most people's biggest regrets tend to fall on a more emotional nature, such as not being present with their family. Many elderly find that it may be too late to show their genuine feelings of love and affection, especially when the opportunity has already passed. Number 4, worrying too much about the past. Do other people say that you're always stuck in the past? You might believe that getting older automatically means moving on from everything in the past, but it's not always the case. As long as you spend all your time worrying and ruminating over past mistakes and missed opportunities, you'll always find yourself stuck and unable to move on. However, this does not mean that you stop talking about the past altogether. According to the American Psychological Association, reminiscing and communicating about positive events from the past can actually improve an elderly person's psychological well-being. So while it's good to talk about the good old days with your friends and family, it's equally important to look at the present and think of the future. Number 5, being untruthful far too long. Being untruthful doesn't only mean lying to other people. You may also lie to yourself as well, justifying your thoughts and beliefs in something that, at your core, doesn't reflect your values or innermost state at all. Similarly, you may suppress your own wants and needs for externally motivated reasons. This can go on for ages without even realizing it. And even if you do, it may be too late for you to make an impactful difference. Number 6, not taking care of your body. Are you in your 20s to 30s? This is usually the age where you feel invincible, at least physically. However, your body will naturally slow down after that time if it's not cared for. Spending your youth without keeping a good diet, doing exercise, and having enough sleep can accelerate this aging process. Older adults who don't sleep well, for instance, are more likely to suffer from mental health issues like depression and develop problems with attention and memory. Number 7, not exploring your career. Have you ever thought about opening up a business after school but shrugged it aside for fleeting pleasures? Or perhaps your career path was so busy and well-paying that you justified staying, even when it meant not spending any time with your family and friends or being able to explore the things you're passionate about. Not exploring your career options, whether it's because of a high payout or a lack of intrinsic self-worth, may end up leaving you wondering what if when you're older. Number 8, not traveling. Do you get to travel often? Many of the elderly often regret not traveling and seeing the world. They may have lacked the resources and the opportunity when they were younger, and lack the energy when they're older. Apart from being able to see the world, traveling also has many benefits for your mental health, such as improving your mental power, helping you stay calm, and widening your perspectives. Number 9. Working too hard. How much time do you spend working? Overworking is one of the most universal regrets for people later in life. According to his book, Being the Father I Never Had, highly influential people like Barack Obama had expressed regret for not being there for his little girls due to work. The common pattern these people share is the lack of time they gave towards the people they cared about, like their family and friends. And number 10, not living your true self. Do you hide parts of yourself to fit in with people? If so, you may find that the more successful your attempt at masking yourself is, the more lonely and isolated you end up feeling. Changing who you are and pretending to be someone else to please other people can be a source of regret late in life. Are you subscribed if you want to go? According to statistics, only a small percentage of you who watch our videos are actually subscribed. If you enjoy our content and would like to support us, do consider subscribing. This helps YouTube's algorithm in promoting more of our mental health content. Thanks for being here. Hey Psych2Goers! Do you often wish you could stop feeling regret? Ever since the dawn of time, people have struggled to find the secret to the meaning of life. And while there isn't an answer yet, our centuries of shared experiences and introspection have brought us a few steps closer by better understanding what makes life worth living and overcoming the things that hold us back. With that said, here are 10 mistakes you should never make if you want to avoid lifelong regret. Number 1. Taking loved ones for granted. In one of the longest and most famous studies done on the psychology of happiness, according to the Harvard Study of Adult Development, psychiatrist Robert Waldinger found that happiness was most strongly correlated not with success, status, wealth, or achievement, but with the quality of close, personal relationships. That's why when you're lucky enough to have people in your life who truly love and care about you, you shouldn't take them for granted or wait until it's too late to spend time with them. Number 2. Not following your dreams. When we're young, it's easy for us to have lots of hopes and dreams in life because we feel like the sky is the limit. But as we grow older, it gets harder to follow those dreams because of our everyday responsibilities, such as paying bills and maybe raising a family. But if you truly have a calling or a passion that gives your soul purpose, giving up on it in favor of following someone else's idea of what you should do in your life or choosing the path of least resistance is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Number 3. Not expanding your horizons. As the famous movie quote goes, life is short, the world is wide, and I want to make some memories. Whether it's traveling the world, moving to a new city, taking a risk, or simply trying to allow yourself to discover all the great experiences life has to offer. Because if you don't, you'll spend the rest of your life wondering, what if? Number 4. Wasting your time on things that don't matter. The older you get, the more you realize things like gossip, fake friends, popularity, social media, pretending to be someone you're not, and always worrying about whether other people like you won't really matter in the end, and yet we can't help but waste our time on them anyway. The sooner we realize there are so many better ways we could be spending our time and energy, the better off we'll be. Number 5. Settling into relationships too quickly. Even if you don't believe in romance, destiny, soulmates, or true love, that's no excuse for you to simply settle for a relationship you're not happy in or fulfilled by, just because you're tired of waiting for the right one or afraid you'll end up alone. Both you and your partner deserve someone who accepts you for who you really are, who will love you in spite of all your flaws, and make you happier than you ever thought you could be. So don't settle for anything less. Number 6. Compromising your health. Do you smoke or drink a lot? Or maybe you just don't exercise regularly, or you eat a lot of junk food. It's easy to neglect your health when you're young, but don't make the mistake of waiting until it's too late to start taking care of your body. No matter how busy your schedule, you should find time to eat well exercise, and get enough rest. Avoid unhealthy habits like smoking, overeating, and binge drinking, and your older self will be grateful to you for it. Number 7, getting in debt. You know the saying, never bite off more than you can chew? That definitely applies to our attitude towards money and spending. Sure, saving money can seem like it's not a big priority right now, especially when splurging on impulse buys and luxury goods like lavish vacations or expensive phones gives you such a high, but you'll regret going into more debt than you can repay when the time comes. Number 8, being overly dependent on others. Of course, it's only natural for us to feel lonely from time to time, and when we do, we tend to gravitate towards other people for comfort and reassurance. But it's another thing entirely when we do it so much that it makes us dependent on them for our happiness, self-esteem, and sense of identity. Remember, people who are emotionally dependent on others often become clingy, needy, moody, unsuccessful, and unhappy. Number 9, having a bad relationship with yourself. One of the worst ways you can destroy your own chances at happiness and success is by having a negative relationship with yourself. Yet, so many of us are guilty of doing it. We think that being self-critical helps us become better versions of ourselves when really, the opposite is true. When we are kind, empathetic, encouraging, and supportive of ourselves, we flourish so much more. So know your worth, let go of those limiting beliefs, and start practicing self-love to start living a better life today. And number 10, forgetting to live in the moment. Last, but certainly not least, let's never forget that life is fleeting and every moment is precious. Sometimes we get carried away by the hustle and bustle of everyday life, and we start to take all the simple pleasures and worthwhile moments in life for granted. We are so caught up in our future and our past that we fail to see all the good we have right in front of us, right now, here, in the present moment. In the words of Anne Frank, how wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before beginning to improve the world. And the same applies to your life too. So, do you agree with all the things we've mentioned here? Let us know in the comments below. And if you sometimes find yourself making some of these mistakes, that's okay. Remember that it's never too late to change. That's the beauty of life. Also, remember to like and share this video with those who might benefit from it. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.